What if the most powerful self love practice you could do for yourself this week had nothing to do with a bubble bath or an affirmation? Would you still be down? Well, good, because I'm filling you in anyway. Listen, this week I caught myself mid negative thought and I didn't let it spiral out of control, but I did give it a remix. And I'm not talking about that toxic positivity type or even pretending as if the thought never existed in the first place. I didn't do any of that, but I did catch it mid thought. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I said that totally changed the game. Because listen, negative self talk, it is sneaky, okay? It comes in super smooth in stealth mode. It's so smooth, you can almost miss it, okay? If you ain't careful. So, I'm going to fill you in on this new practice that I started. And not only did it shift me out of that negative self talk, but it really set me up for a way that I fell in love even more with where I am right now. So, let's get into it. Now, friend, we know negative self talk, it is not easy to just shut it down and turn it off because our minds are just active, right? And if you are someone who is successful and constantly thinking of solutions, your mind is so powerful that, yes, you come up with incredible ways to solve whatever chaos may ensue. But just as good as your brain is at coming up with solutions, it can also get caught up in fear and doubt and even comparison. So it is so important for us to mind our minds. And I don't really think that we're ever really taught to do that because your mind is like a beautiful playground. And we can often just think ourselves into feeling some type of way that we don't even want to feel. So, just because we have thoughts doesn't mean that we have to let those thoughts run wild. And that is often what is taking place. They are just out here running these streets rampant. But we can actually mind our minds. If you can just even start to do something as simple as noticing those thoughts that you're having on repeat, you get to decide what it is that you focus on. Your mind is not in control, you are. But it first takes you deciding that you're going to mind your mind. So let me fill you in on this super simple practice you can start doing right now. I call this the good news practice. And I call it that because let me give you the phrase that I use to stop myself mid negative thought. Because listen, I, just like anybody, my mind, especially if I'm not being intentional about what it is that I'm focused on, I can so go hard on focusing in on what I really want and the fact that it ain't here yet. AKA summer body, okay? Maybe it's still coming for next year cuz the time is ticking for this year and I don't know if we're going to make it. But instead of getting down on myself, I just noticed that I was having this thought. And I was noticing that I didn't like the way that it was making me feel. It was making me focus in on what I didn't like about my body. And listen, friend, we friends up in here, so I'm just gonna fill you in, okay? Because we can talk about the roles and the specific areas that we're not really excited about. You know what I mean? I put on a dress that I loved from last year, and it ain't exactly giving what it was giving last year. You know what I mean? It it was hugging up on some things that just wasn't there last year, okay? I think you're picking up what I'm putting down, okay? You feel me, right? But in just noticing how it was making me feel and realizing that I just didn't want to feel that way. I did not want to feel bad about where my body is right now. And the first thing that I did when I noticed that that's just not how I want to feel. I don't even want to feel that way about my body, mind you. So I ended up saying to myself, that may be true, but the good news is, friend, if I tell you, as soon as those words formed that sentence in my mind, instantly I felt so much relief. And I think what really set it off is the very first part of that statement. That may be true. Because how many times have you tried to change your negative thoughts by fighting with them? Like, you are literally wrestling with your negative thoughts, trying to change them. And they strong, ain't they? It's like, you are not winning this fight, okay? It's got your arm is shaking. Listen, okay, that's how I feel when I used to try to wrestle with my negative thoughts. Like, I felt like I was not winning this fight. And so I decided I didn't want to argue with the thought about whether or not it was true. Let's just say that it is. Let's just, okay, sure. Let's just say, let's just agree. Okay, fine. Let's agree to disagree. Even if it is true, that doesn't mean that I want that thought to continue to run rampant through my mind all day long. That doesn't mean that I want that same thought to dictate whether or not I'm going to enjoy this beautiful day that I've been given. So just acknowledging the thought and allowing it to just be. I don't even have to label it right or wrong. I don't even have to agree or disagree. Let's just acknowledge it for what it is. That may be true. And then the second part of it is just really deciding what I want to do next. Because the good news is I love myself anyway. The good news is this body birthed two humans, okay? This body has kept me all of the days of my life. This body has gotten me through some of my most challenging, some of my most heart wrenching times of my life. It's also gotten me through some of the best, my most favorite moments ever. So, why should I feel bad about the way that my body looks today when it's gotten me here? It's done so much for me and it continues to do so much for me. My body is doing things right now. I don't even know what all systems is running, okay? This thing is so smart, okay? It's so advanced. It has got systems running that I don't even fully understand, but it's doing its thing, okay? And the good news is I'm working on it. The good news is when I do that 3 mile walk, I'm making progress. The good news is when I decide to do some Pilates this week, we're doing the dang on thing. The good news is I have mobility. I can do these things. I can walk, I can stretch, I can move my body. There's so much good news. And that is what really shifted me into gratitude. It really shifted me into, wait a minute, let me celebrate myself here right quick, okay? So, friend, first notice the thought. It just wants to be acknowledged. You don't have to ignore it. You don't have to pretend that it doesn't exist. You can just call it for what it is. That may be true, but the good news is, and by acknowledging it and noticing it, now you can move on from it and you can move into the direction that has you feeling good about your body. Because, sure, I didn't like the way that I looked in that dress when I first put it on. But you know what? The good news is I got a closet full of dresses, okay? Let's go pick another one. Instead of me focusing in on, ooh, this dress, it's not quite okay. Well, you know what? Holla back in 30 days, okay? We'll probably be in a different situation. So, really allow yourself to have the moment. Just, acknowledge that that thought is there. But the good news is you can shift it. The good news is, even in this moment, even in this state, there's still so much to be grateful for. There's still so much to be celebrated. And the more that you start to find those things that make you feel lucky, then it just becomes a snowball effect. And now you are on the road to having a good day, a day where you feel good in your body. Because, friend, even though this is not yet summer body, does not mean that we're not working towards getting there. Okay. The salads and the kombucha, honey, listen, they're doing their things. Okay. We just have to continue along the path. So your negative thoughts, they do not have to run you. And instead of trying to ignore them or pretend that they don't exist, allow it to be noticed and acknowledged. And then you get to make the power move because now you get to decide what you choose to do next because it doesn't matter what is going on, whether it is in your life or in this world, there is always some good news. And you might have to squint really hard to find it, and that's okay. But once you find it, it becomes easier to find another one and another one and another one. So, all of that to say, friend, that is a practice that I really hope that you decide to give it a try. And listen, let me also say this because I know that when we start doing something new, and maybe you're not noticing your thoughts as quickly as you would like to, maybe you do end up spiraling, right? That is okay because this is a new practice and it's going to take some time for you to start really noticing where your negative thoughts are, where they're coming from, or when they show up. So that's why that first step of notice is so important because the more that you notice it, then the faster you'll be able to acknowledge it and shift it. So grant yourself some grace. This is not about being perfect. This is not about addressing every single thought and, you gave this practice a try for a few times and then you expect to be rid of negative thoughts because you might not ever be rid of them. However, you can get better at noticing them. You can impact their frequency to where they're showing up for you less and less and less because you have changed the way that you think by not focusing in on what's not here or the circumstances that are showing up right this moment because things can change. You're changing. And just by doing this practice, you are doing it. Okay? You ain't trying. You doing it, friend. Okay? Ooh, so good. Ooh, I love this so much. I hope that you love this practice too. So let me give you your journal prompt real quick. Okay. Mm, Here we go. What do I love about where I am right now? Before the finish line, before the goal is reached, before everything looks the way I planned it. What is already here that deserves to be celebrated today? Oh, friend, I love this one. I love this one so much. Let me see if I got anything else in here good for you. This is another question that I was thinking about because I know that sometimes, especially when you're trying to find those good things or things to be grateful for, and you really want it to be something that really gives you that pause to just really appreciate what it is that you're noticing. So, what do you want more of? And can you find evidence of it already existing in your life? Because, friend, the more that you start to practice noticing what is already here, that is how you draw in more of what it is that you really want. Because I'm going to just tell you, yes, I want a summer body. This summer would be fantastic, but next summer, you know what? We getting there, okay? We making progress. And in the meantime of working my way there, I don't want to look back and feel like I missed out on a season of my life because I wasn't happy with one thing that I was working on. So, I really want to invite you to grant yourself some grace, but also start to really get into alignment with what it is that you really want. And that starts with feeling good about where you are right now. This season is not perfect. And trust me, even when you get to the season where you have crossed the finish line, that season probably won't be perfect either. There's always going to be something that we'd love to tweak a little bit or refine a little bit or just feel a little better. So, let's not hold this expectation that things are going to be perfect when we get to the finish line. Because if you have granted yourself grace all of this time and appreciated where you are all the way up and through into that new season, you will be so happy and fulfilled because you chose that every day, not just when you achieved a goal or reached a certain place in your life. So, friend, that is what loving your days is all about. Ooh, friend. Ooh, so good. So, tell me in the comments which part of this practice are you excited to implement right now? I cannot wait to hear from you and connect with you in the comments. I can't wait to celebrate you and where you are in this season of your life. And in the meantime, in between time, if you want even more journal prompts, I'll be sure to link a resource for you down in the description. The main character energy journal prompts, those are another amazing resource to really help you connect with your self love and the best of who you are right now in this season. So go ahead and grab those, friend. And just know I'm cheering for you loudly and obnoxiously always. Okay, friend? We are doing this together. I'm so excited for you to take this practice with you into your week and have an amazing week. And listen, friend, I love myself so much. I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much that you won't play about you either. Okay, friend? I can't wait to connect with you in the comments, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow.